order.
Order in Johnny's courtroom.
Order my court. All right. For our featured act tonight, she's the author of the new book called The Godfather's Daughter. Let's give a late night welcome for Rita Gigante. How are you, sweetie? What's going on? What's going on?
Hi, Rita.
How are you, honey?
How are you?
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here.
The Clipper. All right. So listen, congratulations on your new book.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
But before we get into what the book's about, I would like to talk to the people, maybe give them a little bio about your dad fast, and then we're going to get into you.
Yeah. My dad was Vincent Gigante. He was the head of the Genovese crime family, and he was actually the head of all 5 families in Manhattan.
Yes. He was a well-respected man and a legend in the mafia world.
Yes.
You know, so, but through your life, I mean, I know you saw a lot of ups and downs. What actually gave you the courage and the inspiration to write this book?
Well, I had made a lot of changes in my life. I'd grown up with a lot of anxiety and depression and panic attacks, and not knowing what my dad did for a living, having a lot of feelings suppressed in me. I finally got to the point where I didn't want to be sick anymore.
Yeah.
So I started to change my life. Once I started to see the changes in myself, I wanted to help others, get them on their path, the way I got myself on the path to good health. And I was, hoping that this book would bring that to people.
That's great. Now, listen, I know growing up you must have seen certain situations that you didn't want to see. Would you like to elaborate on one of them?
I don't know if I didn't want to see them because I was so young, but I would notice these men would come in the house, and all friends of my dad's, and we'd be sitting around the dining room table, and I'd hear the radio would be loud, the TV would be loud, the phone is off the hook, whispering, everybody's whispering, passing notes back and forth, who's writing what. Then they write it, they rip it up, who throws it down the toilet, someone's putting it on, lighting a flame under it, whatever it is. And I'm just, I have one ear to the cartoons, the other ear is to what is really happening here, And you can tell, even though he was in his pajamas or a bathrobe, there was this presence about him, and that people respected. And so you knew that there was something, but you, of course, at the age of 9, 10, 11, you don't know exactly what's happening.
I know you had to overcome some other personal stuff in your life. I know you're gay, right? You grew up in a Catholic Italian family,
right? And
that must have been very hard for you.
Yeah, because in that what they call it familial way, you're a woman, so you need to clean the house, you need to cook, you need to get married, you need to have children. Those are your 4 duties,
yes.
Right? But I knew that at a very young age that wasn't going to be me.
Yeah.
So I was very unconventional, and I tried to speak out about that, but it was very hard. I was always being pushed down.
Yeah, something like that, you'd have to be on the down low.
Yeah, and so I kept it in as long as I could, but it was physically making me ill, because I needed to be able to speak my truth, live authentically, and it was getting harder and harder. And the sicker I got, it got to the point where I said, I can't do this anymore. So finally I told my family, and I only told my dad once. What's that?
How old were you?
I was 19 the first time. And when I told my mom and dad, the reaction I got was not the greatest. So I pretty much jumped back in. And then not until I was 24 again did I come out to my mom and say, can't do this anymore. This is me, and you need to accept this is what it is.
Now, I read parts of your book. I went through different chapters because, that's how I read. I got like a relaxed brain,
Right.
But one of the parts that says that you felt like an outsider growing up in school and around your family. What advice would you have to give somebody that's feeling that at an early age?
The best advice I could give is you are who you are, and it's okay to be that. So you need to be able to be that authentic self. Don't be afraid of what people think, what they say. Just speak your truth, live that, because it's the only way to live. You know, otherwise you have skeletons that are always knocking.
Yeah.
And I couldn't live that way anymore.
That's a problem with a lot of people growing up. You know, everyone has their own little insecurities. I had my own little insecurities growing up, what people say your father, whatever. Then you overcome it.
Sure.
In your own time, I guess, in your own way. But you know.
Listen, I didn't like what my father did for a living, but I loved my father.
Exactly.
You know, he was my dad. So.
Yeah.
He's always going to be dad.
He's always going to be dad. Exactly.
So, Rita, I know that you have a degree in exercise physiology.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're also a licensed massage therapist.
Yes.
Now, you consider yourself a healer. Would you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, I work with people on a daily basis. I can sense things. Do you know what a psychic is, or somebody who can sense energy and can speak to the other side? That's what I do. I can sense blockages in people's bodies. So when they're on my table, I'm kind of like that conduit between me and spirit. Right? I open up my energy, and the person really needs to be open to it. That's the most important thing. And then I just open myself up to spirit. They bring the energy through me, and the healing goes to them. And that has been probably my most sacred work on this earth. The book is definitely the legacy of my family and the healing of me and them. But this is my most sacred work.
That is something that confuses me a little. Maybe you could educate me a little. Spiritual contracts.
Oh, yeah. So this is what happens before we come here. We have these contracts that we make, right? We pick our parents, we pick our siblings, the people that we want to learn our lessons from, right? And normally the people that we learn the lessons from are the hardest ones. There are adversities, you know, because when they're working with us, we probably can't stand them, but they're actually teaching us the biggest parts of our life.
Yeah, big time.
So we set this plan up. It's kind of like a play, right? We cast the characters, we come in, and we learn these lessons. Some of them are harder than others. I thought to myself at one time, am I crazy? I picked all these crazy people to work this out with, you know?
That's life, that's how it is.
But now, when I look back, I think to myself, I picked them perfectly, because my dad and my mom and everybody in the family has taught me so much. It actually, you know, it made me who I am today. All those lessons, all those crazy, stories, but they were good stories too. I mean, the book has, you know, funny parts, it has sad parts, it has, it's just a beautiful journey of healing.
No, it's great. I mean, I'm gonna eventually read the whole book.
Good.
To go off track a little, I mean, I could imagine Hollywood. They probably approached your family a bunch of times doing a movie on your father.
Before, when he was alive, absolutely. And there's talk about it now too, but I haven't had the opportunity yet to address anything because the most important thing is that it gets out there and it helps people.
Yeah.
And if something comes of that, fantastic. If it doesn't, that's okay too.
Now, how does your family feel about your sexuality today? You're getting married, right?
Getting married, yes.
All right, schedule.
Yeah, thank you.
That's it.
Thank you. Yes, May 26, 2013, which is not that far off, right?
No, not far at all.
My family absolutely loves Bobby, who's my fiance, and she's been a gift to this family. She has walked me through this book and a lot of things that I had to overcome while I was writing. She's been magnificent, and they can't, love her enough. They're very, very accepting at this point. They even have come, a long way since the book has been written. Things that were before are different now. Things that they read the book and they can understand now the journey. They had to do that. They had to be able to see that.
So what's in the plans for you, Rita, in the future?
My biggest passion is to be able to speak in front of audiences, help people, motivate people, help them get them on their path, and help them with obstacles if they have any, because I've been through it, the book touches on so many aspects that I feel like I can help anybody from, anxiety to losing a loved one. And most people don't know I have this beautiful connection with my dad now because he's passed over, and I don't have to deal with his ego anymore.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with his soul, and he can see me, and I can see him for who we really are.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
My father passed a couple of years ago.
Did he?
Yeah, so the older you get, the more you value it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, but where can anybody get in touch with you on the internet website?
Facebook would be probably the best at this point.
Okay.
Just, Google my name in there and it comes right up.
And that was a nice write-up you had in the Daily News.
Oh, Daily News. I was joking with my dad. I said to him, I got more press than when you were alive.
I was actually, this was 2 months ago, at my family's house for Sunday dinner.
Right.
Marion, she's in the audience, and I started reading the paper. They showed me, we knew her. I go, I'd love to get her on the show. A couple months later, your friend Mike.
Yeah.
What's his last name?
Mike Patari.
Yeah, I got to bust his chops. Mike Patari reached out to me, and I was like, yeah, I'll bring him on. So it was fate, actually, you came onto the show.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody, Rita Gigante.
Thank you.
Have a seat.
Have a seat? Okay. Fantastic.
All right. All right, it's about that time, right? I'd like to thank everybody tonight for coming and sticking around and being patient with our production and coming to the first show of the 6th season of the Late Night with Johnny P show. I'd like to thank all our, thank you. Yeah. We'd like to thank all the people who donated all the fine dining that you guys ate tonight. We had Vinny and staff at Fratelli's Pizzeria. We have Jerry and staff at Cigar and Bagels, both located in downtown Princess Bay.
We also have Paulie and staff from New Cheese Restaurant South. As always, the food is delicious, and thank you for everything that you do throughout the year.
Yes, and we also like to thank all our friends, our family, our fans, our CTV dedicated staff who came out to the show. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yes, and if you or someone you may know would like to be a guest on the Johnny P Show or a part of our member audience, please email us at latenightwithjohnnyp@yahoo.com. For any additional contact information, please go to Facebook, Vimeo.com, Twitter, or YouTube. And for air times, please log on to johnnyptv.com.
She's good.
I got it trained. All right, I'm Johnny P.
And I'm Demetria.
Take care and support your public access TV. Good night.
Happy New Year. Good night.
Thank you. That's a wrap.